Did you know that they made a sequel to Half Baked? Do you even know what Half Baked is?
I was just about to say, don't say it.
Never fucking mind. All right.
Half Baked. 1995 by Tamara Davis.
It's Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle. Remember their cruisers were killing New York City, please. Horse by feeding it junk food. Not where I thought I was going. Three slacker stoners are forced to get off their butts and raise bail by selling pot stolen from a pharmaceutical lab. It's a risky plan, but hey, these are stand-up guys who would do anything to help out a friend. Oh, I know the poster.
Yeah.
I've seen it before.
It was definitely a movie that influenced a piece of my humor at a very young age. Dave Chappelle.
I don't know who the other guy is.
Which one?
Harland Williams.
Yeah, you know Harland. The stand-up. He's been on like Tom and Christina's podcast. He says really weird, off-kilter shit.
Oh, is he the pea drinker guy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Is that him?
Yeah.
Weird.
He's the friend that...
Oh, no, okay. He's not the one on the poster. That's a different guy.
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, yeah. All right, I don't know who the other guy is, so...
I mean, one of the
Guillermo
guys...
Diaz? No. Whatever. Anyways, continue.
I don't know. There's a sequel, and I was like, what the... Who, why?
Who's in this sequel?
I don't even remember. The first one was written by Dave Chappelle, so somebody was like... It was literally someone in his studio was like, you know what was funny? Let's Half Baked. Let's do a sequel. Or some jackass was like that. I don't know. I'd be like, hey, you know what? You know what movie I found really funny? Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny. You want to make a sequel to it?
Half Baked, Totally High. It just came out, too.
Did it really?
Well, this says it was 2024.
Oh, shit.
A sequel to the 1988 cult classic Half Baked. This film follows three potheads who sell a magical strand of weed to pay for their friend's funeral.
I mean, not that the first Half Baked was, like cinema gold masterpiece of any kind.
Well, it's only weird in the year of our Lord 2024 that this era of stoner, this kind of stoner movie feels very over, and it has been very over, like the Harold and Kumars of the world, So for it to come out in 2024 is kind of crazy. Like if this came out in 2008, I'd be like, so that was sure. The height of that kind of stuff,
Or the tail end-ish,
Yeah, the tail end-ish of that. But I don't know. I don't know if I could sit through any of this stuff. I tried Harold and Kumar again, and I was like, I can't do this.
I could sit through
it. Yeah, but you can still tap into that.
Yeah. It brings me back to a place.
A simpler time.
Yeah.
Which is just weird because you've never been a big stoner.
I not super, super big stoner, but my fair share in my early 20s.
Yeah.
Before you knew me. It was.
I guess that's a better way to put it.
Yeah.
I haven't known you.
Yeah.
As a stoner ever.
Yeah.
Not like me.
No.
It's really big. You knew me when I was a really big stoner.
Yeah. Yeah.
You melted my brain a couple times. Came on with the wall. This is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
Tommy and Jacob's mixtape. I love surprising.
No man, for any considerable period, can wear one face to himself and another for the multitude, without finally getting bewildered as to which may be true.
Nathaniel Hawthorne.
Scarlet Letter.
Scarlet Letter.
I really like that quote, though. Because not only does it, for obviously, the trial and whatnot, but very, very poignant to this movie. It was put in there for a reason.
Welcome back, everyone, or welcome for your first time. This is TJ's Mixtape. I'm Tommy. That's Jacob. We're two friends. We like movies, so we started a movie review podcast. So we talk about who made them, who's in them, and what they're about, and give it a rating at the end. The rating is arbitrary, but puts a nice end to it. Yeah. Today we're doing...
Primal Fear.
1996's Primal Fear. And if you aren't aware, Primal Fear is about a hotshot defense attorney takes on a high-profile murder case. The suspect, an unknown altar boy. The victim, the Archbishop of Chicago.
Oh! It's not like that, but very far from opposite of that. It's very much grounded in reality. Objection.
So yes, this is another courtroom movie, kind of like what we did last week with my cousin Vinny.
But this one's drama.
But this is a courtroom drama, melodrama, very melodrama.
So since I had seen it and I'd been recommending it,
and I hadn't seen it,
what'd you think of it?
I loved it.
Yeah,
I thought it was cool.
Yeah,
I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
We'll get into it, but there's some.
There's a big spoilers.
Yes, like we'll
big
just
spoilers.
start that off now. Oh, sorry for a couple
Spoilers!
things. Jesus. And that's when everyone turns it off. Again, just off the top, yes, there is big spoilers for this. So if you haven't seen it and you're into courtroom drama stuff, then thank you for listening. Bye. Because I highly recommend this if you're a Law and Order kind of person.
And it's at like the peak the peak interest of it as well, 1996.
Yeah. This is at the height of that whole thing. There is
sensitive material,
trigger
warning stuff, content warning
in this episode of the sexual nature. So if that is also something you don't really particularly want to hear us talk about, then also thank you for listening. Goodbye. And yeah, let's get into the meat.
He stabbed him in the crotch.
A lot. A lot.
Well, okay, so...
and then also just, this is our last episode of the season this year until we get into our Mogwai Awards.
Well, yeah, it's our last review. Our next week will be the end of the season, last of the year, Mogwai Awards, where we both pick our, objectively best movie, our favorite movie, and forgettable movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's kind of our award show for the year. So we go through all the movies that we have reviewed and just kind of do a recap. They're called the Mogwai Awards, kind of personal joke, but they are. Stands for Movies of Great Worth and Infamy Awards.
And a Mogwai is from the movie Gremlins.
Yes, which was one of our early movies, and that's what we based our entire award show off of.
Well, and also we used to have our rating system be on fucking Mogwais and Gizmos and Kremlins.
Yeah, and then it turned into carrots because also inside joke, and it just made it less confusing. Carrots are stars.
Carrots are easy to keep track of.
Yeah.
Then a Gizmo, a
Spike,
wet Mogwai,
a soggy Mogwai. But yeah, so this is our last review of our year, and then we will do our Mogwai Awards, and then we'll start over. So... let's get into this. When was this released?
Primal Fear was premiered on April 1st, 1996. Mm-hmm. What day is that, Tommy?
April Fool's Day. And nope.
Nope. Don't say
no.
it.
Don't.
We've talked about it before already.
I know, and I'm getting people change, and I'm getting weird about it. Alrighty. So yes,
it's the day that Tommy dies.
That'd be cool. That'd be fitting. Really? Did he though? Anyways, yes, premiered April 1st, 1996 in Los Angeles, and then had a full release April 5th, 1996.
I thought I saw 3rd. It doesn't matter. First week of April.
Yeah.
When it was released, it was like the number one in the box office for like 3 weeks.
Yes.
Which, I mean, I don't know what the fuck it's going up against in April. Like, it's not like that's a big like release window for stuff, you know. Mm-hmm. And then overall, like for 1996, it was like 27th overall for the year. So I mean, it was a huge box office success.
How many movies did you see?
I just went back to saw 96 last time we did 96, and I wrote 40 plus, so I just wrote that again.
I got 42, and this movie makes 8 movies from 1996 that we reviewed.
Hell yeah!
Or really,
just finish it off.
Yeah, just
next year, all 1996.
That's it.
Yep.
That's all we're going to do. It's not as dramatic as I thought, considering this is episode 207.
Yeah.
It's not. There's been 200 other episodes that aren't 1996. So I was like, all right, I was being kind of dramatic about it. But I still think, keep it in mind.
I feel like it's 1996, 1998. It's like the late 90s we do a lot of.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like we were like kids consuming a lot of media.
Yeah, weird. But yes, back to Primal Fear. Let's start off with, this is actually based on a book.
Novel. Yeah.
I didn't actually write down
William Diehl.
I didn't write down when it was released.
Oh, 1993.
The book was?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh yeah. Novel by loosely based on a novel by William Diehl called Primal Fear, which is actually, I thought was kind of interesting as a first of a trilogy involving the same attorney and same suspect.
Yep. So it's loosely, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I couldn't find anything about the adaptation, so I just kind of assumed that it was like,
well, once you start reading the synopsis of the books, you kind of...
Oh, really? Well, the second and third book, I'm just like, how the fuck did they... What? How did we get there?
It starts getting real Silence of the Lambs-y kind of vibe to it.
Because like by the third one, Aaron is like
a deacon or some shit.
Yeah, like faking.
Yeah, and then but it's like everyone, the defense attorney gets like an upgrade because by the third book he's the U.S. United States District Attorney.
Yeah,
you're like, man, fucking Marty's coming up in the world,
right?
So I was just and I was actually like, I might want to get my hands on it because it sounds cool.
Yeah,
I mean, I would.
They're probably not like super hard reads either. You know what I mean?
Maybe, I don't know. I liked once I had the idea of like a Hannibal, I was like, all right, it's not the cannibal thing, but
it feels like more like it's going to be in the realm of Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, I could see that kind of like a Dan Brown vibe.
Yeah.
Right, Dan Brown.
I don't know.
I think Dan Brown. Sorry,
Tom Hanks.
Okay. Who directed this?
Tom Hanks. That's a lie. No, it was directed by Gregory Holt, who doesn't really have a lot of stuff. He's more of a producer that I saw on like a lot of like police procedurals, but like Fallen.
Yeah, like, which I've talked about doing a couple times.
Yeah,
Fallen's cool.
Yeah, Denzel Washington, John Goodman.
Supernatural crime thriller.
And it's a guy a serial killer that can transfer his consciousness between people just by a touch.
Yeah, and like I really like this, like the radar gun and Alien franchise, the beep beep. Mm-hmm. I really like a really simple, creepy thing. Like, and to explain, you as the audience member know the serial killer's in a new body because he whistles "Time Is on My Side" by the Rolling Stones, and it's really just a great little tool to make you like go, oh shit, the security guard is him. Oh shit, the is him. And I like that movie for that reason, which is really stupid. But now that I say it out loud, but I think it's cool.
Hey, yeah, everybody likes a thing for a thing.
Yeah, I think it's a cool tool to do.
Yeah,
and I like thrillers and horror movies that ruin songs. In the sense of now that song forever makes you think of that thing.
Fair. It's like I can't. Whenever I hear Alice Cooper, School's Out. Mm-hmm. I just think of Scream.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's a good one. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Or even like SpongeBob's now ruined because of Insidious, because of Tiny Tim.
Oh really?
Yeah, because they use Tiny Tim and SpongeBob.
Oh.
So just him in general.
That's why Tiny Tim makes you go like, think horror stuff more than anything. Even though Tiny Tim was 100% not that.
Yeah. But I love that. I love when that just like it just rewires your brain to be like, nope. Like, hear that in a room, I'm out. Like, nope. Anyways.
All right. Well, yeah. So Gregory Holt. I saw Frequency, which is I remember seeing. Remember correctly, it was a Dennis Quaid movie.
A lot of crime stuff.
I was gonna say, that's what I was going for. A lot of crime stuff. So very fitting for him to do this courtroom drama.
Yeah. Yeah, like NYPD Blue, Cop Rock, LA Law. What is Hill Street Blues? Yep. Hill Street Blues, another cop show. Like a lot of cop stuff. I wonder why. A movie called Vampire.
I mean, that's just what he was good at, I guess, You know what I mean? So for writing, we have two different screenwriter, or I guess a screenplay writer and another writer. I don't know. This is one of those movies that it didn't have like a lot of
his
detail.
His dad was a cop.
Oh, okay.
Well, had a job in law enforcement.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's not a lot of research easily to find on the internet for this. And by the internet, I mean Wikipedia.
I looked for a bit and I didn't find anything super.
I mean, so for our writers, we have Steve Shagan, who was kind of more primarily a writer and like writer, producer, I guess, for 70s and the 80s. It wasn't until like in the late 90s he did some more writing. Like, and this is kind of one of his last things that he has credited for. And then Ann Biderman, who a lot more writing credits, just not as big as many more, but she wrote Public Enemies, Copycat, and created the show Ray Donovan with Liev Schreiber.
I didn't realize that show went on for as long as it did.
Neither did I.
Long show.
Yeah.
Very long.
It's like, oh, that's what Liev Schreiber was doing.
Was all that. I've heard of it. It has a pretty good rating.
It's one of those shows where it's like, well, it's like Burn Notice has like a decent rating, but like other than me, who's watched Burn Notice? You know, it's like one of those like off, like not like main network, like it's a cable network show that.
I thought it was FX.
That's what I mean, cable network.
Well, yeah, but it's like, well, actually, if it is FX, then
it can go either which way.
Yeah, because they don't know when to fucking quit.
Exactly. You know, like The Shield went on for way too long. Rescue Me went on for way too long.
Nip Tuck went on.
Nip Tuck just fucking went weird.
Nip Tuck was wild.
Like
Ray Donovan ended 4 years ago.
Yeah. Wait, American Horror Story. That's FX, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, the only saving grace with that one though is that it's anthology based, so
Yes.
every season's different.
Yeah.
So even though
I don't know, the last couple of seasons have been like, what if we throw a lamp and a scary thing? Woo! Aliens, vampires. Woo!
I still haven't finished the. Oh no, it looks. Actually says Ray Donovan's Showtime.
Really?
Yeah.
So I guess when I said cable network, that's what you were thinking, weren't you? No, never mind. But Showtime, that's also like Showtime is like trying to be HBO, you know. Showtime's only had a couple of good shows, like in my opinion, like Californication is up there.
Oh, with Dave Duchovny.
Mm-hmm. But we're talking about other stuff than that. But so Ann Biderman, not Lieberman, Ann Biderman, and Steve Shagan, writers for this. So I guess, you know, I don't know. One of these two people fucking wrote an adaptation of Primal Fear for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm spiraling. Help me.
But yeah, that's pretty much everyone involved in the making of it. Let's get into who stars. Just get that out of the way.
Who's our main?
Richard Gere.
Yeah. Richard Gere.
Which I haven't seen he plays Marty.
Yep.
Martin Vale. What a great name for a lawyer. Yeah.
What a creep.
Yeah, he was great.
Oh, God. The very end when he's like grabbing onto Laura Linney.
That was weird.
It's weird because in 1996, I was sitting there, I'm like, wow, in 1996, through the lens for a lot of people, this is like, oh, he's being debonair. And right now in 2024, we're like, dude, leave her alone.
Yeah, this isn't the time.
Get your hands off her, you fucking creepy dude. You're literally like, it's like grooming her. Like, oh.
Well, no, but it's like, I don't think it's that. It's not reading the room. It's like she was just in a very hostile situation with a very twisted individual,
losing her fucking
that
job.
Was behind her, like.
Yeah.
Like holding her hostage, and then you go up behind her and then wrap your... I'm like, no. Maybe a hand on the shoulder and be like, if you need to talk.
Yeah, this is such a forced... It felt like such a forced... in the 90s, like, they're the man and the girl, and he's got to find a... Like, you know, it's like there has to be...
Well...
Something...
Yeah.
And it's just... This scene did not age.
Well, the thing is my opinion too, is that the whole dynamic of their relationship being this, they dated for a few months, like 6 months or whatever. And
it was a one night stand that lasted for 6 months.
And they have this kind of back and forth, will they, won't they, hate fuck kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's fine throughout the entire thing. But then to throw in this, they want you to make, I don't know, it feels like they want you to think it's like genuine emotion and care, but because of the whole buildup of what they've done, it's weird because there is no substance to the relationship.
Yeah.
So I'm glad. I felt it was very odd too. I was like, this is weird.
But again, like I said, I was like thinking back in the lens of 1996. It was just like Hollywood's like, well, the man and the woman have to end up together, right?
But they don't even really end up together.
But there's that acknowledgement, and she looks at him, just like, yeah, I'll be there type thing, you know? It's like an unsaid, like,
well, it's it's like this,
I forgive you.
Well, it's like this, I can fix him. It's like, no. He's always going to be an arrogant prick.
Yeah. Like, he admitted it to you 30 seconds
I did appreciate that.
Yeah, because I'm arrogant. And then he grabs her. You're like, oh, God, you are arrogant.
Yeah.
Anywho, okay, so Richard Gere is our lawyer, our lead of the movie, really. And then second lead, Edward Norton. You want to do it?
We just didn't say anything Richard Gere had been in.
Oh, because he's Richard Gere. I don't know. He's been in Pretty Woman. Or he was in Pretty Woman. He was in Chicago. A bunch of other things. What else do you want to put?
Big human rights activist.
Yeah, he is. He's actually a pretty cool dude. It seems like.
I have a weird memory of like
gerbils.
Yeah, what is that? I tried to look it up. I remember South Park making jokes about it. But I couldn't find any like.
Don't know. I was hoping it'd be on his Wikipedia page, but of course it's not. There was just a weird.
I looked at Richard Gere controversy, and the biggest one was not allowed back at the Oscars, and now he is. And
did you not look up Richard Gere gerbil?
No, I didn't need that on my history. I just looked up controversies, and his big thing is that he gets in trouble at award shows for talking about human rights atrocities.
There was just something in the 90s, I want to say, where it was one of those. Like maybe like tabloid lies, like the Mercury or whatever, the fake news ones actually.
Oh, or I mean, it could have been like the Hugh Grant situation. It's just been long enough now that people don't bring it up anymore.
The whole thing is that the joke that Richard Gere likes to put gerbils in his ass.
Do you feel like you've made it if South Park makes a joke about you?
100%.
Yeah, you've kind of made it, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like at the pinnacle of pop culture.
I would like turn into Leonardo DiCaprio. Oh! Yeah, Richard Gere.
But yeah, okay, cool. Edward Norton, who is our suspect for the murder, who we did
in Death of Smoochie.
Death of Smoochie. God, I forgot we did that movie. That's a cool movie. I want to watch that movie again. Death of Smoochie, he's Edward Norton. Hulk.
American History X.
Fight Club.
Mm-hmm. He's a transformational actor.
Yeah, isn't he a pain in the ass to work with, though?
That's what I've heard, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, too.
Looking at him in this, his smile...
And this is very early him. This is like his third credit, I think.
Second, sorry.
No, it's third.
Oh, no, yeah, that's right. Yeah, this is kind of credited as like his film debut, but there was a Woody Allen movie that did release before this. But I think he may have filmed this first. I don't know.
But he's a baby.
Yeah. But there's like scenes where he's smiling, like that entire final scene with Richard Gere, and he's smiling, just the way that his like smile, like his cheeks go up. I was like, man, he would have been a great fucking Joker, actually.
I mean, he's still good. He's not that old.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
He'd be a good Joker for Robert.
Yeah.
I've always liked the idea of Joker being older.
I mean, he's supposed to be, in my opinion.
Yeah, like the Joker they implied in the Batman. I'm like, I'm not into that.
Oh, that's right.
At
With
the end
Barry
there.
Keoghan.
Yeah. I don't like that. I don't like them being the same age.
Well, I mean, we don't know how old Barry Keoghan's in that movie.
Well, no, I mean...
Just actor-wise?
No, I mean, like, someone that is obviously significantly older.
Oh, yeah.
I like that better. Like, fucking even Willem Dafoe at this point. I'll be like, yeah, I want him to be older and more calloused.
Like the Keaton... Jack.
Yeah, like that kind of age gap, like a solid couple decades. But yeah, Edward Norton.
And then we got Laura Linney,
who plays Janet, who is our prosecutor.
State prosecutor.
Who we did talk about in Truman Show, because she's in that.
Oh, yeah.
Episode 131. She's also in Love Actually. I just bring it up every time it comes up, because it feels like it comes up pretty regularly.
She's in Ozark, which I still need to finish.
Yes. She was in Nocturnal Animals, which is...
I have not seen.
I still think you should. That's one of my favorite thrillers in the last couple of years.
I'll get there.
It's very weird. Very weird movie. That's cool.
I got pretty much just like quick honorable mentions for the next ones, honestly. Mm-hmm. John Mahoney, who plays Shaughnessy, Laura Linney's boss, and then Frances McDormand, who is our psychiatrist doctor for Aaron Stampler, Edward Norton, Andre Braugher, rest in peace, which I found out he passed away like a couple weeks ago.
2 weeks ago or something like that. Yeah.
He's Holt in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And then Mara Tierney, who... No, we just watched Liar Liar.
Yeah. I just brought it up because there's two love interests for Jim Carrey
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was funny.
And then Alfra Woodard, who's our judge. She's, which I read.
Who we also talked about.
What?
Scrooged, episode 9.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's his assistant.
Yeah, assistant. Damn. That was way long ago.
Mm-hmm. That was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. Apparently, the judge was originally written to be an 80-year-old white man from the South.
Yeah.
I don't know, just
That,
progress, 1996. Give it to a black woman instead.
Yeah, I had a feeling that was an idea that they had. Like, let's get some more people in this that aren't just a bunch of white people. This is a lot.
So
of
we
white
have
people.
2 black people.
Yes. 1996
In Chicago.
In Chicago. Okay, all right. Let's move on. Let's do our
You ready to go for reviews?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, please.
All right, so on IMDb, this got a 7.7. And then on Rotten Tomatoes has a 77 tomato meter rating and an 89% audience score. So definitely, I mean, I can see audiences being more drawn to this in a, like, because of the twists, you know?
Yeah.
And we've already kind of discussed some of the, I'm sure even in the late 90s, people are like, what the fuck is this relationship? You know what I mean? Like, I feel
with Val and
Marty. Yeah. But what do you got?
So this on Metacritic, it has a 47.
47?
Which comes to mixed or average.
Wow.
So 6 positive, 9 mixed, and 3 negative. At LA Times, Kenneth Turin gave it an 80. A tight courtroom melodrama that serves up twist after twist like so many baffling knuckleballs. This film handles its suspense material with skill and style.
Yeah.
And then, where is it? The mixed 50 by staff not credited at the TV Guide magazine. The Sky High Sleaze Quotient, Lavacious Priests, Amateur Porn Movies, Teenage Hustlers, and Institutionalized Corruption of Every Kind. Ought to guarantee fun for all, but heavy messages keep poking through and spoiling everything. And I brought that one up because I was all with it until that end sentiment there.
I think what it is, because this movie spins it, like, what it's really more about, I mean, and you can kind of put that into the themes with all of that as well, is truth and like what is truth is, how truth is perceived. So, like, the whole, like, there's definitely like a call out to the Catholic Church and like the abuse that they've done, and the repercussions, like, just in sexual assault in general. There's a lot of things that come up in this movie that are just kind of like, this is a problem. Like, Marty is using this trial as more of like a platform to like
boost his career,
but also by the way that he's trying to defend Aaron is by moving around everything else and bring up all the other corruption. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like he's trying to distract the jury with other things until he can find the third man. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's like,
so it turns into like a let's talk about all of this fucking corruption instead of the actual trial, which is what's pissing off Val the entire time.
Well, yeah, but it's like that's kind of the thing with this movie too that becomes the double-edged sword of it, is that by doing these other kind of plot points and these other things happening, it creates a more interesting character and more levels to them. Mm-hmm. But from a writing standpoint of a film, they don't really go anywhere.
They don't go anywhere.
So you're kind of sitting there and like, it's cool because it's making, obviously, because with these kind of things, it becomes very Law and Order where it's like he's just the detective, she's just the DA, you know. But with this, and there's all these little moving parts, it makes them feel more human because they have lives and things are going on. But from a movie standpoint, they don't matter because... Well,
then also for a film in general, it's like, look at all this corruption. It's like, okay, what do you want to say about it? Look at it.
I mean, that's kind of how the world works, so I kind of appreciate it. Like, what are you going to do about it? Yeah. Let me just finish off real quick. And then our negative was... Rolling Stone name, sorry, lower that a little bit. Peter Travers, who gave it a 12. You'd get more of a jolt from Angela Lansbury on Murder, She Wrote, and more intellectual stimulation from a cozy game of Clue. I have a note here.
That was fucking cold.
I have a note here for C. Rita Kempley under the positive section.
Oh, man.
What did she say? I don't remember what she said.
Oh, burn.
Rita Kempley gave it an 80, writing for the Washington Post. Excuse me. A crackling courtroom drama with more twists than OJ had alibis. I wondered why I wrote down see that. Because it gave me a laugh. That's why. It's pretty fresh. For
Well, for 1996.
Yeah, it's a pretty fresh reference.
I mean, that means it's also relevant at that time too.
Because there's another one here. There's another OJ reference.
Oh my god.
The bottom of the barrel, 10 by Andrew Ross at Salon. Sorry. It should have been It should have been sent straight to video. As a courtroom drama, it stumbles from one ludicrous howler to another, where the movie's legal technician advisors on another planet, while the rest of the world was learning about legal procedure courtesy of the OJ trial. Which is that's actually kind of fair, because now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know enough legalese bullshit terms to really know how
like it's a
accurate,
language.
how accurate any of the shit they're saying is.
Do you speak legalese?
I don't. It's the Dan Cummings joke of hold you in contempt of court. Still don't really understand what it means, but I know I don't want it. You know, it's I still don't, which is weird because I've been watching. My parents, or my mom especially, has been a Law and Order fan for my entire life. So I've been watching this shit forever, and that's probably why I enjoy this, because it kind of had a little hit of nostalgia, especially being, like you said, the peak of that. But I still to this day don't half the time understand what they're talking about in court.
It's like, oh, fancy word.
Yeah, Your Honor, permission to treat the witness as hostile. I'm like, are they gonna fight now? Like, yeah, like what does that mean? I don't know. But so I don't know how accurate the jargon.
Your Honor, permission to look at the I don't know. I'm gonna give up.
Okay,
I stop. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So all in all, it seems like you liked it or you didn't.
Yeah, and really, like this movie, it's fun to just kind of see the mystery of it all unravel as well, because like through like our main character being Marty, we're kind of like the movie and the trial is unfolding for us with him.
And I want to just point out that too, that Martin Vale, our Richard Gere main character, is unapologetically a defense attorney.
Yes,
he is very much the stereotype, no soul, doesn't care if they're guilty or not, which you kind of I actually kind of respected.
You have to be kind of like that, you know.
Because at the end of the day, he's like, it's a job.
Yeah.
Which only got confusing because when you first hear him talking about it, and granted, people can say one thing, and that kind of goes into the whole theme with the two faces wearing masks kind of motif. But in the beginning, he has this whole kind of spiel about it just being a job. Mm-hmm. And then later on in the movie, when he's a little drunk, he then admits that he actually has this... in the way he mentions it too, almost this naive belief that everyone is inherently good but has the ability to do terrible things.
Well, and he's also kind of talking about like why he left working for the state prosecutors, because they were making him do things that he didn't really like, and he was also seeing the good in like something. Like he was defense attorney for like this mob boss guy, you know.
Yeah.
What's his Pinheiro or whatever?
Something like that, yeah. I can't remember.
And what you find out is Pinheiro is going to take this buyout from the state and put it back to the community that he's trying to save, trying to keep these poor people like in their homes, because what the city is trying to do is gentrify the spot.
Yeah. Well, and that's what's interesting. They actually wrote, he became... And that's why this movie is more interesting, because it really does feel like one really long Law and Order episode.
Yeah.
But what I was saying earlier too is like that alone, like this whole thing where it's like, oh, he's sleazy. one of his clients is its crime boss, and then they have a conversation, and then he's like, yeah, I'm a crime boss, but I'm doing it because I believe I'm right in protecting these people from these people that aren't going to protect them. So I don't give a shit.
It's kind of the thing is like, he's a mob boss. What the fuck do you think any other politician is? Just because they get paid by the state, they're not a fucking criminal?
Yeah, it's legalized crime.
Yeah, exactly. So get fucked.
So it was kind of...
I got a little worked up there.
They made it very interesting.
Yeah.
You know, because and I know I'm just going to say it one last time. It was very Law and Order, but to have this... It's not just the crime boss. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, I mean, you can be a good parent and not a good spouse and vice versa. Yeah. It's like you're not just one thing, you know? You're not... Just because he's a crime boss doesn't mean he's...
You can be a great friend but a horrible coworker.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like... There's this idea... And that's the thing is, like, you know, when it comes to morality, a lot of time, there is this very black and white kind of...
Yeah.
And people forget there are shades of gray, you know, with everyone and everything.
Well, because the church wants us to believe in a black and white, in a binary like that, you know. Mm-hmm. I'm just...
You're bringing it back to the church aspect here.
Yeah, because that's part of the themes in here, all right?
When the Archbishop was being murdered, I kind of was like, why are you listening to that song, dude? When has anything ever happened the good... would listen, and he's like, and I thought it was just us for the audience, but then he started humming along, and I was like, what kind of psychopath listens to this? Like, that's not about to torture someone.
Well, okay, so kind of wrapping back all together is like, this movie is like, the biggest theme in it is what is truth, and how you can how you make one perceive, how you can make someone perceive the truth in one way while it's another thing, you know, which is like that Scarlet Letter thing, you know. And also, again, Richard Gere's character Marty, at the very beginning of the movie, he's talking about, I make people believe what I want them to believe. It doesn't matter what the real truth is. It's the truth that I make them see and I make them believe. Mm-hmm. So this person could be guilty, not guilty, doesn't matter. As long as they believe what I said.
Well, yeah.
And that's the truth. That is their truth now.
Well, there was an interesting conversation about how we need to instill a shadow of doubt.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah.
And then, but that goes back, the faces, the masks that you wear from the multitude to who you truly are. How long can you withstand that? That's Richard Gere. Like, to these people, like his, you know, as the defense attorney to this journalist, he's putting up this facade of, I make the truth. What and you know, blah blah blah, and then drunkenly with the journalist, he is honest, and he's like, the truth, like, obviously there is an actual, you know, absolute sustainable truth, you know. Well, and then finding out that the reason why, and yeah, going back to like why he became a defense attorney is because he saw that there was actually good in what we innately see as criminal, you know?
Well, yeah, and he even has like a whole confession about he did something really, really bad.
But they never tell you what
which I loved. I loved that. I really did. I was like, I don't want to know. Mm-hmm. Because also to know then gives the audience a power of morality and what their morality is. So then you have people going, oh, that's not that bad. Or people like, oh my God. It would make him either... It would undermine the severity of it, or it would make him completely unappeal to audience members. So it was a very smart move to not tell us that.
Yeah.
So we have no opinion about it because we never know.
Yeah. So then what's interesting is, like, as we're having this entire conversation about like morality of right, wrong, what, blah, 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 and wrapped up in all of this in the movie of these questions is now Aaron Stampler, who is this bumbling, stuttering, just weak little kid, pretty much, Edward Norton, accused of murdering this Archbishop, and his performance and his I'm not going to say Edward Norton's performance. Yes, absolutely amazing, but Aaron Stampler's performance, amazing too. This is going to be a spoiler. I'm just going to get into it. Let's see if you have something you want to say.
There's something I wanted to say before that. I was just waiting for you to. Fuck it, whatever. And because his character also, his whole entire character is also, again, putting on that theme of the truth that you want people to perceive. You know, his entire character is the example of what Richard Gere's, of what Marty is talking about. You know, and that's what it was. I was just thinking, like, kind of by accident that we did last week too, is that I really like that we are Aaron Stampler is our accused perpetrator of the crime, but we're not. He is in a weird way, such a side character, and so in the background, kind of like with my cousin Vinny, because that's not what the story is. The story is not about how the murder happened or really why the murder happened in a lot of ways. It is, but mainly we're trying to find out the why so that our main character can change the narrative to better fit his goal. And it's just, I don't know. I really like that.
We spend a lot of this movie trying to figure out motive. And Aaron Stampler, who is saying, I don't remember doing it.
They find motive. They talk about hiding the motive, which is also great too. Because a lot of the time you're on the side of the prosecutor we're trying to get the murderer incarcerated. That's what we're trying to do as the audience member. In this one, you're kind of inherently following, oh no, we want to hide it.
Well, because they also do a really good job of building sympathy for us as the audience member towards Aaron, because we see that he was, sexually assaulted by the Archbishop by being forced to perform in pornographic, videos for him, but Aaron is also kind of like, well, I mean, he just needed it. And Aaron waking is like, he's blacked out. He doesn't remember killing the Archbishop because he's saying it wasn't him. I wasn't there. I just woke up and there was blood everywhere.
Yeah.
And so we see him just being so sweet and innocent and scared. We connect with, I don't want to say connect, but we have sympathy towards him. So then it is like, this is a sick kid that needs help. He doesn't need the death penalty. And that's the big thing that Marty is trying to prevent, is like, this kid needs help. This kid doesn't need to doesn't need to be killed.
It didn't work on me.
Fair. That's fine. But that's what they're doing.
Yeah. I'll just say there's definitely gonna be audience members too, like me. They're like, nah, there's something not right. With this whole situation.
Did you have an inkling that it was all?
Yeah, I knew.
How'd you know?
I think not so much more of the writing, but for the time period and what they were discussing with the mental health thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
also, really quick, I do find it amusing for someone to convince their lawyer and a psychiatrist that they have MPD is either one of the greatest goddamn actors in the goddamn world, or those two are really bad at their job.
It's one or the other.
Yeah. It's like, man, maybe she's not a good psychiatrist, actually.
Yeah. Well, like, yeah, so being the time period that this is out and everything, and when it comes to a diagnosis like that in court is very hard to do, especially because at this time there are many, many camps of basically it exists, it doesn't exist.
Yeah. And
it's because it's a very hard thing to prove.
Yeah.
Obviously, because it's to an outside perspective, a very untangible thing.
Just the whole idea of multiple consciousness.
Embodying one thing.
Yeah, in
one entity.
Yeah.
One physical entity.
And it's hard because of the limited knowledge we really do have about human consciousness and the brain itself.
Well, and then people have abused it.
Yeah.
People have used mental illnesses to get away with murder.
Look what this movie does.
Yeah. To get away with murder. So people are very skeptical about it.
It wasn't me. It was Seth. I'm Seth.
Yeah.
What? No.
I knew that they were going to go with this multiple personality thing the second he said there was a shadow standing over him. I was like, okay, so this is a mental thing of some sort.
Yeah.
Then there was this, when he started doing the transformation, then it was like, okay, I was right. And then, I don't know, just the reveal, I was like, that's too easy. Like, there's just this movie, everything it is not going to end on a good note. So I think that he's full of shit. And then he said the whole, tell her I'm sorry about her neck or whatever. And I went, okay.
Did that
yeah, I knew immediately, but I already had my inkling. I was like, I'm gonna if we were sitting there watching, I would have put money down. Like, no, he's totally full of shit. Like $20 says he's full of shit.
Yeah.
I think it was well written.
It's because I the first time I was like, what?
But not to toot our own horn, we're pretty good at that.
Yeah. Well, Usual Suspects I figured out.
I don't remember if I did or not, but it's been like I remember
this one. It was like this one threw me through the loop because, I mean, like I was just like I'm like, man, Edward Norton's killing it with this. Like,
so you've seen this before, right? You're talking about the first time I saw it.
First time I saw it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm saying like I feel like now with how much that we have been ingesting and everything, certain times like I've caught myself. It's kind of a bummer. I've been catching myself, kind of catching play by play.
Fair.
And you're like, yeah, well, like, that was cool, I guess.
I feel like this movie does a really good job of burying the lead for that.
I think it does. I mean, I think it does, but it just didn't. It was like,
and then, like, so when he does say, like, just tell her that I hope her neck is okay, I didn't even really pick up. I was just like, oh, yeah, he cares about her. He's a good kid. But then Richard Gere, like, when he stops.
I'm sorry, he was great in this.
Richard Gere?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was really, really good in this. And I never really had an opinion of Richard Gere because all I've ever seen is like Pretty Women. Like
Pretty Woman.
I haven't really.
Chicago.
Never seen Chicago.
Huh.
The musical. Seen him in a couple things like Runaway Bride, right? Is that it? Yeah, the Runaway Bride. And I just had no opinion about him. I knew he was like this zaddy heartthrob guy.
I don't see it.
Well, I see it.
Sure, go for it.
I'm gonna climb that mountain. No. No, like I get it, you know, because he know what it is. He has kind of like this older Mickey Rourke. He's kind of got this voice thing. I don't know. Like I'm thinking Diner. You know what I mean? That Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
But I just thought he was great in this.
He's
okay.
great. Yeah.
I was like, okay, I like him in this a lot, and his little. How did you feel about that? Since we're kind of on that, it's kind of we're jumping around, but I loved how this movie ended, like the actual end.
Oh yeah,
him walking out of the prison, and this kind of bewildered, kind of holy
lost,
shit, he got me. The court, you know, walking through the court and everything, and then he gets outside, stops walking, and then just black credits roll. I thought was beautiful. Because I was like, it's the same thing about his past. Don't over explain it. Don't show any about what's going to happen now. What's he going to do about it? He can't really do anything about it because the judge already. Well,
because it's kind of like he now has to walk and face the world through in a way that he now knows what it feels like, what he's done to other people. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. And he's also basically allowed this monster to back out into society because, you know, we find out that Aaron, right?
Yeah.
Aaron and his other personality, Roy, basically Aaron hasn't existed this whole time. It has been Roy.
It's like his real name is Aaron Stampler.
But the character of Aaron's personality, the stuttering, quiet little Southern boy, is the illusion. And Roy, the violent, in-your-face killer, is our primary... is our person. He just made up this other personality. The only thing I was kind of... the end where it's kind of over-explained... I don't know if it's over-explained. I guess, what am I trying to say? I didn't really particularly care for how abruptly the conversation between them of... behind the curtain thing. I didn't really care for that. I'm not entirely sure how I would have wanted them to do it differently, but there's something that I don't know. I didn't like. Oh man, you got me. We're so good together. I don't know. It just really didn't sit with me well.
I don't
the big
think it's
reveal.
supposed to.
I didn't like the.
Well,
but not that way.
It's just like. The execution of it.
The execution. Not like, you're supposed to be uncomfortable and like, not like that. I didn't like the execution of the big reveal and I don't know why or what I want different, but I just didn't like it.
I mean, Edward Norton's performance, the way that it is written is definitely like, it's giving away everything, but I feel like just like it's meant to, and
that might be my problem. And I also love that and maybe you'll feel this way too. you can kind of feel that Edward Norton is still pretty new to being on camera. He did a really great job, but I don't know, there's something, he felt very green.
I don't know. He was nominated for an Academy Award.
No,
Yeah, okay.
I didn't say it was bad.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying the way he was moving, it felt like he was on a stage to me.
Interesting.
Next time you watch it, because I know that you've seen it a couple of times, like, I'm thinking about the big reveal when you find out that he has this disorder.
Yeah.
And when he turns into Roy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're seeing a lot of his back, and like he's not performing out towards the camera. He's performing just like to perform.
Yeah,
but that's more of a screen thing than a stage thing. Because if he was performing for the stage, he'd be performing towards the camera or like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's what it feels like.
Oh, that he is doing that?
Yeah, that's what it feels like to me. It doesn't feel like...
I don't know. I remember that scene. I see a lot of his back.
Because, I don't know, it just, he stood out to me a lot. I mean, actually, like, maybe later...
I think that's just...
rewatch that scene and see if you can see what
I think what you're noticing is Edward Norton's change of body language, language and, or demeanor from Aaron to Roy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
so it might seem a little bit more theatrical because he is putting on play for these people, you know.
Yeah, but it felt, I don't know. It's like Richard Gere standing there he still feels like
more natural
and still part of this world. And then I don't know, it feels like almost like he becomes. So
I guess what I'm trying to say is like I guess it's like if you're noticing something of him being still green to the camera. Or if that was the choice by Edward Norton for the character, for there to be this separation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, it's also like to make that decision, even if that is the case, I think he might have done a little too much.
Fair.
To me. But what the fuck? Who cares what I think? Honestly. Just kind of talking out of my ass now. But I just bring it up because that scene, that big reveal of, oh shit, Aaron.
The stillness that Richard Gere holds and
he's
towards
great.
the end of that.
That's the thing,
and
though?
Just him literally running away from it, and Edward Norton is like with facing the bar is like, come on, man, you and I, we're gonna go far together.
Well, that's the thing though too, is like that whole scene when you have the reveal that there is this guy named Roy that is also inhabiting, Roy is inhabiting this body. I know that the big focus was like, oh, you should be Edward Norton. Look at what he's doing. I was looking at Richard being like, his like kind of dumbfounded, like,
yeah,
what do I do here?
Yeah.
I don't want to piss him off. I don't like you can tell he kind of has an idea of what's happening, but he's like, he wants to get more information out of Roy, so he doesn't want the psychiatrist coming in and bringing Aaron back or whatever she's going to do. So he keeps telling her, like, no, like, wait. I thought he was great as the reactionary to this new hostility that just suddenly kind of erupted out of this guy. Thought he was great. And then his final scene of that, like, getting hit by a ton of bricks of, oh, shit, I really fucked up. This 19-year-old kid totally threw me through the ringer and got exactly what he wanted. He murdered 2 people and got away with it.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, he fucking murdered the woman.
Yeah.
The young woman.
And but that goes back into that kind of whole, and I kind of want to circle back to that, as the bringing up things that we never really get, like, the whole city corruption thing with Shaughnessy.
Yeah.
And they murder his client and friend.
Yeah.
And then he has that really great moment of calling that motherfucker out on stage. And the judge is like, you're coming with me.
Yep.
You pull that personal bullshit out there. Do not bring it in here. And I was like, that was amazing.
She is fucking Alfred. Yeah. Is that you say her name?
Oh, I don't have my...
Yeah. Alfred Woodard.
Yeah, Woodard.
She is so good in this fucking movie
she's
as
great.
the judge.
Yeah.
There's like those scenes in her chambers are just like, she's cool, collected, very direct, very sympathetic as well in her own way. And just like, and then just like, all right, are we fucking done here? Because I'm done here.
Well, and it's also like that was great. I really enjoyed that moment of calling Shaughnessy out, because this entire time we're kind of learning about this corruption that you think at some point is going to tie in to our big murder, which it kind of does, kind of doesn't. Okay. Because that's the thing though, is like I have this, like I was saying, a double-edged sword. I have this love and dislike for it, because I love it because it actually makes the world feel more real, because that's how life is. There are connections, there are coincidences that necessarily don't bring closure or an end to anything or really matter that much. But for a movie, for a film, for a story, it is odd, because your natural reaction as an audience member is to get closure.
How is it going to all wrap
connect again? But it doesn't have to.
In full actuality, it kind of does, in a sense of it all feeds into motive of why this Archbishop is murdered by Aaron Stampler.
Yes. Yeah.
But what we get is Aaron Stampler getting off not getting off. It goes to mistrial as opposed to like an actual verdict of guilty, not guilty, because they're going to take a jury off of it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and then it's this whole insanity plea.
Yeah.
With the option for a 30-day probation kind of thing. So even then, Aaron still has to keep up this ruse for another month.
Yeah.
And hopefully
see if he can.
And hopefully they're better.
I don't even really want to think of like post this movie though, because of like because again, like what this movie is really doing is talking about how we perceive truth, which is also important to talk about all that corruption through this movie as well, is because, well, are we really just going to watch it happen type thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so where's your brain?
It's a couple things.
Yeah.
Like, well, yeah, I mean,
it's like these themes and these messages are there, and to make a statement on it for, like, you know, a piece of, you know, art film, you know, an art piece. It's there, but it doesn't necessarily send the message fully. You know what I mean? It doesn't really. It's kind of like the, hey, you see this? Yeah. What is it? What is it supposed to do? Well, just look at it.
But I think that's also kind of how you look at it. It depends on how you look at it, because of that, like this whole bringing up this corruption, and, you know, there's these people that want to do things about it, and then there's a lot of people that ignore it. You know, all these different things.
Yeah.
That's what makes this movie kind of feel real in the world, is because yes, there are forces of greed and evil and destruction that want to take over this neighborhood and gentrify it just for money, not caring about these families.
Yeah.
What can you do about it? The guy that was trying to do something about it ended up in the river. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that is kind of the
ended up in the river by the actual state, by the people that are supposed to be the good guys.
And so it's like, you know, it's this extremely powerful force. So for us to get no closure to it, it would almost be too Hollywood. Ha ha ha! Look, they did it.
If they rode off into the sunset. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
And it leaves it very open-ended. And then when you look at the fact that there are these sequel books, at least, that he ends up becoming the U.S. District Attorney, you're like, okay, maybe that's what he went back to his.
It sounds like in the books, it kind of turns into like a weird action series, because I think
you nailed it with the Dan Brown thing.
Yeah.
The Da Vinci Code thing. It kind of but these are lawyers.
Yeah.
Not the church.
A lawyer and a crazy man.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like at the end, well, yeah, it doesn't sound like it, like reading the description of both of them. By the third one, and then unbeknownst to Martin, Aaron Stampler's still alive.
Survived. And you're
like,
survived
what?
Yeah. Did you throw him out of a helicopter or some shit?
Get off my bench.
Yeah. Get off my bench. Kills him with the mallet, the javel. I mean, all in all, and I thought that this was kind of interesting too. I had this thought of, you know, we always talk about something maybe doing better as a series or whatever, because you have more time to.
I think that's
what I'm getting at. I was like, this is actually a really great example of a well thought out, to me, a very well thought out crime series, drama, storyline in 2 hours?
2 hours, 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Mm-hmm. Perfect. And they did it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very long episode of Law and Order.
It's a special episode of Law and Order.
It's a season finale.
Yeah.
But it's also, what's crazy about it is that you had all this kind of weight to everybody, even our side characters, you know, like Tommy and Andre's character and everything.
Dude, that scene, when he's like talking to his what's it, not secretary, I forget what they're called.
Naomi
and Andre's character.
Tommy.
And he's like, we're losing this case. How about you guys do your fucking jobs?
Yeah.
And Andre's like, fuck!
Well, it's like, it's because and that's why I think is the kind of into the impressive story, like writing of it and everything, is that you become attached to these characters kind of like you did with Linney in Law and Order. Mm-hmm. But you knew Linney for 15 years.
Yeah.
So when something happens with his kids and shit, or Stabler or whatever, you're like, shit, not your kids. I've been watching them grow up for the last 10 years. This was 2 hours and you actually felt like, oh shit, like I kind of know these people and I want them to fail or succeed or whatever your personal feelings were about the situation. And I was like, that's pretty good. That's pretty impressive. Usually we're the other end. We're very like...
I don't really care.
Or oh man, if they just made it the series so we could get more involved with these people, then I'd care more. I was like, no, I think this was actually just perfect little crime drama. It was cool. It was very fun. Fun is a weird word.
It's weird to say less is more for a movie like this because there's a lot in this movie.
Yeah, well, there's also, and a little more wouldn't have hurt in the sense of what we were talking about writing and kind of like bringing closure to some of these things. But
I don't think it's needed because that's not what the story is.
That's not what the story is, and that's not how the world works.
Yeah.
You don't always get closure. You don't always get a nice little tidy up ending. And that's something that with a lot of courtroom drama, especially TV, everything gets... Yeah, especially the early stuff there. Yeah. Everything had an ending.
I mean, just in general, the fact that the case itself is brought to a mistrial.
Yeah,
like we're not even getting the end of the process of all of this because what the story is. This movie is the journey of Marty realizing.
Yeah, kind of like I was saying with the Vinny thing. It's like it's not really about Aaron.
Yeah,
Aaron is just kind of a tool in the conflict. That created this conflict, but it's really about Marty and his kind of
journey of realizing that he's no better than everyone else.
Even
he himself can have the wool put in front of his eyes.
Fucking threw that woman under the goddamn bus.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was like. Well, and I do like that his thing, though, like when she's getting all pissed off at him, he's like...
Yeah, you did your fucking job.
I knew you were going to do your job.
Yeah.
Did I think he was going to jump up and try and break your neck? No. Did I know he was going to react? Yeah, but that's not my fault how he reacted. I was like, you sleazy motherfucker. Like, respect, man. God, you're right.
You got to say it like that.
What?
Respect, man. Nah.
He does his job.
Well, because the following the notion of the scene, you know what I mean?
Oh, no, but I mean the fact that I'm like, God damn, man, you want him in your corner.
Yeah.
If you're on trial, he's the kind of dude you want. Like he's gonna get you off.
Maybe not anymore. After who knows what kind of like loyal he'll be after realizing what he just did. You know?
Well, yeah, and it seems like we were saying in the story, it seems like he changes.
Yeah.
Even like what Aaron's saying too, like he's turned like I thought that was a great shot too when he's walking through the empty courtroom and you still hear Aaron in the background and Aaron is emulating his father.
Yeah,
you'll thank me for this, boy. We'll make you stronger, boy. Like he's doing this kind of like I did something bad to you, but you'll thank me later for it. You just don't know it. I thought that was a great shot. I just thought there's a lot of cool and the music too. That fucking 90s detective lawyer music, you know what I'm talking about? Like, it's that noir kind of thing. I was like, man, they're really heavy-handed with it in this one, but let's go. I'm down.
All right. We're a little over an hour. So.
Oh, are we?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit. All right, that flew by.
What do you want to give it?
4.
4? I'm down for that. Yeah.
Talking, I was torn between a 3.5 and a 4. Because of the kind of loose-endedness of things, but after talking about it, I was like, to me, it fits.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be kind of loose because it's like, it's this grand tapestry of things that we're discussing, but our main focus is this one thing.
Mm-hmm. This
one person, and this one particular case that he sought out to get the fame and notoriety and everything.
And through his fame and notoriety, what has he become?
Yeah. And it leaves it nice and open-ended to...
And again, that fucking quote from Scarlet Letter is just super fitting. Also, that book in general is like very...
And I like that
thematic
also...
with as well.
We didn't... I like that... Loosey-goosey, I do like that we also didn't get a huge over exposition of why Aaron is the way he is or why he killed. Like, we know it's the sex tape thing, but it's like there's more to it psychologically than that.
Yeah.
And
It's like what made him finally snap.
Snap. Was he always like that? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's
Has he been playing the stuttering boy his
whole
entire
life
time as the altar boy, and back he's just like, motherfuckers.
Yeah, and I like that it, like, you know, I always complain about directors and writers and stuff not giving a solid ending, but considering that this world has kind of, that's how it started, that's a fitting way for it to end. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Yeah. So I think that after talking about it, the kind of loosey-goosiness of it is very much fitting for what the subject material is. So yeah, I say a 4.
Word.
Okay. Put it in the book. Yeah, because Cousin Vinny got a 3.5. So okay. It's official. You made it into the TJ's mixtape book.
He likes his book.
I like my book a lot.
He talks about it a lot.
I like my book a lot. It's a record. So yeah. Like, follow, subscribe, follow us on Instagram and Facebook. On there, you'll see some promo posts to just let you know what's coming up for every Friday. On those posts are a Linktree link that will take you to anywhere you can listen to us. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. We do video if you're just listening to audio. And yeah, so like, comment, subscribe, follow us. That will help us out a lot. We are a self-produced podcast. And we would love for you to join us if you've been listening. I think it would make more sense if you've been listening this whole time, but please join us next week for the Mogwai Awards. We'll just kind of talk about the last year that we've had with movies.
A lot of movies.
A lot of movies. Have we?
No, we've had a couple of bangers.
Yeah, but it's been, wow. Jesus Christ, that's going to be, whoa, this is going to be,
I know.
This is going to be a long ordeal. But yeah, so we'll do an end of the year show. And then after that, we'll get into our spooky season, which is my favorite.
Which we're still...
We're figuring out exactly. We haven't
Is
ironed
it
out.
Ghosts? Or is it choices?
I think it's ghosts. I think we're doing ghost movies, but choices of ghost movies.
Something like that.
Something like that. Cool. All right.
We didn't write any. We had a discussion.
No,
we didn't write.
I remember it.
Oh, okay.
I remember it. Yeah, I remember what we discussed. But yeah. So like, subscribe. This is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is Tommy Jacob's Mixtape. Thank you, everybody. Dung dung. Oh yeah, like grab his ass or something. Yeah, I forgot about that. That was pretty good. The sexual assault joke. Yeah, thank you for not going into that. The SV.